This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, Wes. It's time for another edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown Live, talking sports here in the South Carolina Low Country and sometimes trickling out beyond as we follow the kids we covered or the coaches that we covered as they go on and do other things in the world. And we'll talk a little bit about that today as well. But we'll start off with some headlines and then go through what happened over the last couple of days since we last talked. And then we'll get Terrance Ashe in here for real this time, we hope, assuming the internet doesn't go out at Beaufort County schools. We'll get Terrance Ashe in here to talk about Battery Creek athletics and filling his old position now that he's the new AD at Battery Creek. But first things first, just checking in, Wes. How you doing, buddy? I know you got to check out a really good soccer showdown yesterday out in Sea Pines.
Yeah, that was an exciting match. JP2 and Hilton Head Prep, some talent on both ends of the pitch, and it was a close one. Hilton Head Prep just edging out Sean for the second. Ashley Brothers, an eighth grader, with a hat trick. So an impressive afternoon for her, and a lot of good for both these teams in that match. A lot of talent. I just, I'm impressed by how the soccer talent here. We've talked about it a couple of times, but it just seems like the girls around this area have continued to step up their game at the high school league and over in Skeeza's side too. So a really fun, Skeeza 3A matchup where I was really impressed by what John Paul II was able to do using that speed that they have, and they're able to get some good looks on that and capitalize on a few. Just a great back and forth game, a lot of end-to-end action, and just a really fun afternoon. Beautiful weather. It was absolutely gorgeous out there on the field. I love the Sea Pines afternoon tonight. We talked all about that on the football side or in the fall, but it's just beautiful weather yesterday and another nice day today. I actually also got to go out to, well, unfortunately, it wasn't a great night over at girls lacrosse. Carolina High, they were beat bad by a very good Lucy Beckham team. So credit to the Bengals. Tough one for the Seahawks, but a lot to learn from a defeat like that. And then what a crazy and wild nightcap we had in the baseball field at Hilton High. 11-10 victory. They were up 7-8 runs. They end up holding on just by one. A heck of a rally there at the very end, but the Seahawks are able to hold on in that contest. But a wild affair, and Hilton Head certainly showing their capabilities when they find there's sparks offensively. So I still think this is a dangerous team. That's a gutsy win, and a situation where you get the team that kind of found late. So for Hilton Head, that's a nice win over Central Magnet, team coming from out of the area. Nice game from Slater also, Brooke, as well as Jackson Bybee and Jake Richardson. So they've got some strong bats to the plate. Good to see them bounce back. Now they're right back at it in another rematch with May River, looking to split that series.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to check out at least the end of that game. I'm coaching rec softball tonight, but hoping maybe we show our prowess at the plate again with our ability to take walks and run the bases and get out of there early, and I can get over to Landshark Park and check out the end of that game, because I think that's going to be a good one for sure. I got to stay home last night. I was on gymnastics pickup duty, so I knew I had you out at soccer, and our new intern from May River, Eiley Hawkins, got out to the boys lacrosse game. Great showing. She had some great highlights that we got in on WHHI, including Whit Beebe, a great goal from Whit Beebe, who had 7 goals and 4 assists, tied the program record for points in a game. So that was pretty impressive. That's a good showing from them. And I still think both Hilton Head and May River are going to be able to make some noise in boys lacrosse. Obviously Hilton Head and Beckham played last night. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but that was a really close matchup, and Beckham's a powerhouse. So that's a good sign. But let's get into some news, buddy, because the Heritage is just around the corner. Right around the corner. And Justin Thomas is the latest big name to commit. And I think we're at now like 7 or 8 of the top 10 players in the world. Really impressive list, and really looking forward, obviously, to the Heritage, but especially because we're going to see the best of the best on a level that we haven't seen maybe ever. And if so, only that one COVID year when there was no spectators on the ground. So this is going to be a special event.
All right, yeah, I absolutely agree. This might be the best view we've ever had, and it might be even better than what we saw the 2020 restart with 7-8 guys in the top 10 of the official world golf rankings now. playing in this event. It's just great. It's just incredible. The amount of talent that even a week after the Masters that is dedicated to performing. Obviously, the raised stakes in terms of the elevated prize money has a big deal, has a big impact on it. But these guys love Herbertown. They love the challenge that the course presents, and it's just a great opportunity and a beautiful environment. And everyone just continues to reflect on how much they enjoy coming here and competing here at Sea Pines, and rightfully so. Another big time batch of commits coming our way, including Justin Thomas. As you mentioned, he will be joining the field alongside Jason Day, Matt Fitzpatrick, Victor Hovland, and Shane Lowry. So that's a list of very high prestigious golfers right now on the tour. And I mean, just once again speaks to the ability for this tournament and Steve Wilmot and his crew to attract the top talent with the just the amazing job that they do preserving and just building this course and just maintain it with just a beautiful job that his coworkers do there. So just really excited for this edition of the tournament. I mean, Jason Day, Australian, who's had some great time success throughout the years on the tour. Matty Fitzpatrick, it seems like he's been inching close to some big wins. Of course, he did win the U.S. Open, I believe, recently.
Yes.
Yep. So that was obviously the breakthrough win for him. So I'd like to see him continue that track record here over in Harbortown. And then you look at some of these other names like Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland, recognizable guys that are breaking through here on the tour and have the skills and the talent to win here. And it's more opportunities for that big name star, or at least one of the bigger names here in the golfing world to take the tartan jacket, which is, I remember when we had the winners name list, like Peter Lennard and Aaron Baddeley, and those guys they weren't household names. They weren't people you would recognize if you weren't a hardcore golf fan. And I think there's just something to say that's good about that, because having those first time winners and having those guys, getting that breakthrough victory, I think it's a good story, and we love covering it. But at the same time, it's really cool to see the big name stars come here and win here, like we saw with Jordan Spieth, and then of course Rory McIlroy at the CJ Cup back in October. But speaking of this tournament right here, I mean, it really elevates the possibility of having another exciting tournament, exciting finish, and having that big time name don the tartan at the end of it.
Yeah, and I think it also just adds to that legacy and history of the tournament that goes all the way back to, Jack Nicklaus helping design the course and Arnold Palmer winning the first Heritage. And then you go through and it's like a historical record of golf when you look at the champions. I mean, Nick Faldo and Hale Irwin and Ray Floyd and, all these names that you associate with major championships and greatness. And so, you want to see that through line. And I think certainly there have been plenty of times, and I think the course lends itself a little bit to an up-and-comer who just gets hot for a weekend, taking the win, because it's kind of quirky relative to most of the courses on tour these days, and it takes a special kind of player who can cut it both ways. So, you get some different body types sometimes, and but I think there is that through line, because you still look and you've got your Jim Furyk's and Brandt Snedeker and now Jordan Spieth. I mean, that's probably a future Hall of Famer that you're talking about, and those are the kind of guys that historically have won here. Sometimes later in their careers, that's been the case at sometimes too. But it's still, I think, one of the best tests in professional golf, in the sense that it challenges the players more than most any other course out there, because it's not a grip it and rip it bombers course. You've got to be able to hit every shot. You've got to be able to use every club in your bag. And the guys who can do it for 4 days get that tartan jacket, and it's a pretty cool thing. So and they recognize that history and that gravity. They talk about it a lot. The guys who play here year in and year out. And then I think the other factor is, we've heard for as long as I've been here from the golfers about the change in environment from Augusta to the Heritage, and how you go from that pressure cooker to the more laid back environment. I think the word's out on that. And I think especially in today's 24-hour media cycle, there's just so much more scrutiny and pressure on everyone, but especially on professional athletes, especially that Masters week. And I think the idea of coming to Hilton Head and unwinding and, hey, maybe winning the golf tournament too, who knows, is more and more appealing to more guys.
It's great for the fam, especially for those older golfers, great for the families, great for, those young kids to, experience the island and to experience the area. And yeah, I mean, I agree with it. It's just, I mean, there's so much stress the week of the Masters. Perform well. It's a life-changing opportunity if you get a top finish over there at Augusta, and then going over to Hilton Head, and it's a very different atmosphere. Obviously, you're not called the patrons and all the history and the tradition of Augusta, and I mean, Harbor Town does its own tradition, and it's definitely a rich one, but it's just a different kind of vibe, a different kind of atmosphere here. It's more relaxed, more lazy, I guess you could say. It provides a different kind of feeling compared to
absolutely. You got the boats out in Calabogie
Yeah.
Sound, it's just a very laid back, small town family type of vibe. And I think the players do enjoy that, especially this week after the Masters. But speaking of more golf, Bryson Nimmer had a great weekend last weekend over in Savannah, and so did Mark Anderson, former Buford Academy guy. And both of them off to great starts down in Chile as well. Bryson shot 4 under 68 yesterday, hasn't teed off yet today. And Mark Anderson is looking good. 7 under through 2 rounds, T18. Other Mark Anderson with an E instead of an O is 14 under and leading the tournament. So, but our Mark Anderson looking good. And then Nimmer teeing off here in about 50 minutes or so for his second round. So good to see him playing good golf. We said when he goes south of the border, he usually plays well. He's down in Santiago and off to a great start.
Is the En Fuego mentality once again when he goes down south there, and a nice start to his week, 4 under par, and he, despite the 4 under performance in the opening round, he's right on the cut line, so he's gonna have to perform well once again here on Friday to stay around for the weekend. So some low scores being shot here in Chile, and so he's gonna have a lot more work to do in order to stay around. But I think if he goes back to the mentality that worked here on Thursday, and once again he has really thrived in these courses in the Latino America region south of the border, and I expect him to channel that same approach here and look to clinch that spot and earn some prize money after it's over. So big week, another one for Bryson Nimmer, and then Mark Anderson, once again in contention, -7 through his first 2 rounds, 66 on Thursday, 71 on Friday, so cooled off a little bit, but still looking pretty solid. And then Mason Anderson's your leader. Anderson with an E instead of an O. He's at
that's Mason. I thought that said Mark. Sorry.
14 under par, 67 to 63 today. That's a very nice round, 9 under 63 to put him on top of this Korn Ferry event. He's been, he's a guy that has been pretty solid over these last few weeks over on the Korn Ferry Tour, and someone who is right now number 3. So projected if he maintains his finish. So that's someone we could be talking about as potential PGA Tour player in the future. So what an opportunity for these guys. It's a grind in these the minor leagues of professional golf, and just so much more rewarding when you're able to accomplish those goals and get that tour card and push yourself to the highest level of play. And it's challenging, but the reward is absolutely enormous for these golfers trying to make it. So great opportunity for him, great opportunity for Nimmer as he continues this grind. And once again, he's just really found his rhythm this part of the country. I'm not sure why it is, but it's great to see. It's great to see him performing consistently over here. And I really think he's starting to find something. We talked about a few weeks ago or a few podcasts ago, channeling back to when he was able to find ways to win at Clemson, transferring that over to the in 2020 when he won those G Pro Tour events, and just continuing that same mentality now. Had a couple of definitely a couple of setbacks over the years, but I think he's still in a very, very good spot, and it's still a long career for him to go. And every week's a new opportunity to get that life changing, that career changing win.
Yeah, there's a lot of birdies out there this week. It looks like he made 6 birdies yesterday, but made a double on 18, which was his 9th. So it looks like he's going to be able to fire at sticks and stay hot, get some birds in there, and make the cut. And so make a run at it. So it should be fun. Yeah, he loves the warm weather. He's a Southern boy through and through.
Yeah.
He likes to get down south where it's warm, and he thrives there. He's always played well in Puerto Rico too. So a few headlines to get through while we wait on Coach Ashe to pop in here any minute. Looking over the spring sports stuff from the last few days. May River, you got to see May River baseball take that first game from Hilton Head. Rematch tonight. Great pitching effort by Tyler Brazington. Kylie Rass still just phenomenal in the circle for Beaufort. And we mentioned Hilton Head High boys lacrosse losing a tough one at Lucy Beckham, 16-13. May see that rematch in the playoffs. We'll see about that. And then you also mentioned Ashley Brothers, the 8th grader, with a hat trick for Hilton Head Prep against JP2. But yeah, what a great week, man. That's some big time headlines there.
Yeah, it's been a fun week. A lot of spring sports action happening as we get closer to the postseason, especially in lacrosse. It comes up pretty quickly, but yeah, that was a hard fought battle against Lucy Beckham for the Hilton High boys, just falling short by a couple of goals. But a lot of adversity comes with defeat. And in this situation, during the regular season, I think it gives you a lot of hunger and in the sense that we can hang with these guys if we continue to execute the way we've been doing. We're going to have a chance to beat them when it really matters in the postseason. So I love the philosophy. I love the way that Hilton Head boys lacrosse is playing. Coming up short, like once again, that last year, EC Flores still got hurt, and they're just gonna up their game to a different level. I think this time around in the postseason. I mean, Brady Saba, he's been lined up the board throughout the season. So has been Bill Fielding. So they've got a nice core there. Offensively, you can put up points. Sam Thibodeau is also playing very well. Heck of a battle between two very, very good lacrosse teams. So that was a fun game to follow, and then. Yeah, what a fantastic soccer match. Once again, Hilton Head Prep, JP2, back and forth. I mean, you rarely see that kind of end-to-end action, but you have so much speed on both sides of the field. Ashley Brothers, just sensational the way that she's able to just use that quickness to get to loose balls and that finishing ability to put in the back of the net. First goal, just that hustle. It was all her hustle to get to that ball. The goalkeeper was trying to clear it, went off of Brothers and into the goal, and then that really just sparked her the rest of the way. I did 2 more. The second on a beautiful pass, ended up just calmly finishing it and putting it in the net, and then just another terrific goal on that hat trick in the second half, and it was 3-1. I thought it was over. JP2 comes up right back and scores, and all of a sudden we got a game again. Yeah, no quit in that Gold Warriors team as they inch closer and make this and dramatic right to the end. And then they almost found the equalizer. Great defensive play late, clearing the ball to save what could have been a tie game with just a few minutes left. So a terrific soccer game. Excited to delve into more of that this weekend in Lowco FC when we talked to Misael Garcon. But a terrific soccer game, and then tough loss for Hilton High girls lacrosse. Mentioned that earlier, and then. Kylie Rass, just once again, an extraordinary outing against West Ashley. She has been on another level this year as she continues to put up just insane numbers in the circle for the Beaufort High Eagles. 5 innings, 12 Ks, 1 walk, 1 hit, no runs. Just unbelievable.
Every night. It's crazy. Well, we've got a special guest waiting in the green room, so we'll get him in here. We tried last week, and the technology failed us, but we got Terrance Ashe jumping in with us. Coach, first of all, congratulations on the new gig. Assuming you haven't had second thoughts, buyer's remorse yet on being a high school AD. It is not for the weak-hearted, but congratulations, and get us up to speed on that process and your thinking in making that switch from being a football coach to coaching the coaches.
Thank you, Justin, for having me on. Definitely was something that I thought about. I think being the interim AD also helped lead more to me making this decision on being the full-time athletic director. Very blessed to have a great support staff from Miss Lehman, our bookkeeper, helping with transportation, Ms. Lassard, helping as far as class schedule. It's a lot of people. Our athletic trainer, which we're going to honor tonight for Athletic Trainer Month. She doesn't know yet, so I'm not going to say too much, but we definitely are going to honor her tonight. So, being the head football coach, you kind of got that football program, and that's kind of what you focus on when it comes to being an athletic director. Now I get to interact more with all our sports, and I've coached a variety of sports from male to female. So, every now and then I'll be able to get out there and pop on the practice field and, kind of lend my somewhat expertise in those prospective sports. But it also just gets me to interact more with our entire student body.
Well, you've been off to a fantastic start here at Battery Creek. I mean, just really proud of what you've been doing there on the football field, and now really excited as you transition to this new role. Just, give me your thoughts on your time as head coach and what you learned from the experience of coaching these Dolphins, and how excited you are to take that next step and move on to a new role.
We have some great kids here. When I first took the job, it was really all about getting them to understand, changing the mindset and believing. It's one thing that, I kind of learned over my time that nothing's going to be given to you. You got to work for it. So we've improved drastically in many areas, especially when it comes to the weight room. We've had a lot of buy-in. This year, we've been able to open up our new weight room facility. So those numbers have increased, not just from football players, but, we got soccer players in there. We got our softball team in there. I know our boys soccer, they at least get 2 lifts in a week before practice. So, being able to utilize these facilities that we're fortunate to have, we're going to maximize those things. And also our relationship with our middle schools, especially with Robert Smalls. I know their wrestling team has been over here. We have a couple of their players on our softball team. We're looking to possibly have some of them join our track team since they just completed with the county championships over there. So we're kind of full speed ahead, especially when it comes to spring sports there. So, we're just trying to build something strong here and, represent this community in the right way.
And you've had some success this spring. Girls and boys soccer both got off to really strong starts, and softball's had a little success, baseball here and there. But and your track teams always have some really strong individual competitors. Tanner McCracken has been terrific, and he was one of your football players. You getting out there and watching him throw any, man? That dude is impressive.
He's been like that since his sophomore year. He's really bought into really working on the little things to improve his game. Not only on the football field, but definitely out there on the track field. Because I believe, and I may be a little off on my stats, I think he finished first in the disc and the shot put and the javelin this past meet. Over at Well Branch. So,
he swept all 3 at Coach's Classic, and he's got the best discus and shot in the Loco this year.
Yeah.
Casey Fields got him in the javelin.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see, what happens tomorrow. I know we got a little bit of weather coming in at the Beaufort County Championship, so that'll be exciting. I'm gonna try to get over there. I know we got some guys going up to the Woodland for that football combine. So we'll be supporting some of those guys that go up there as well.
Very good.
Yeah, that's really. I love that the state has been able to, give the opportunity for these kids to shine and show their talents in front of coaches and in front of scouts. This opportunity, show all the work that they've been pursuing, and just a great opportunity all the way around there. So excited for that. But back to yourself, what are you hoping to learn from these collaborations with other coaches, and just a great opportunity for you to learn more about how to be a good leader, a good mentor from some of these other colleagues around you?
Every sport you approach differently, whether it's male, female, whether it's outside, inside. You're talking about team numbers, whether you got 20 in your program, whether you got 50 in your program. So, just looking at how people do different things, even from communication, there are a lot of ways to communicate, from band app to remind app, what fits best for your program, how you're communicating to parents, parent meetings. I encourage all coaches to have some type of guideline policies when it comes to your program. And I've been able to look through some of those, and you look through them like, wow, why didn't I think of that? So, it allows you to really gather a lot of information and, kind of keep that coach's book of resources to, one day, if I return back to the football playing field, I can implement more things into that aspect of it. But it allows me also to take things that I've learned from, say, basketball, and how can we implement that into softball or soccer. I met with Coach Brown yesterday, and we were just talking about things. How can I serve them from a basketball program, and it was likewise, he wanted to know how he can serve us from an athletic program. So, just really us all coming together and really developing professionally from, not just our head coaches, but any coach that is part of our programs here. What are we doing to help develop them professionally, ultimately, because the more they develop, the more we can help develop our kids.
Well, you get to make your first big hire, and it's the big one. You get to replace yourself. So I understand you're zeroing in on folks to interview in the next week or two. But where do you stand with that? What's kind of the timeline, and what are you looking for in the next head coach of Battery Creek?
As far as the timeline, we are hoping to have someone hired when we come back from spring break. Because that'll give us 2 weeks out before spring ball helps out. And my job is to help whoever comes in, gradually come in, and, whatever I can do until they're full time here, that's going to be my job. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be able to put the cleats on a little bit and get out there and practice a little bit while I still can and have that ability there. But, we're just looking for someone that is very knowledgeable at this level, someone that can fit our culture and build a relationship with our kids, and not just with our kids, but, everyone that is involved with Battery Creek and this community. So, we got some good questions. So, how those guys answer those questions and really just kind of sitting down and building that relationship with all the candidates for this position. But, it comes back to holding kids accountable, the discipline, continue to, hold our student athletes to a higher standard. So that's really what we're looking for. We want the wins on the field, but we want to continue to develop them to, when they leave Battery Creek, they have different opportunities, whether that's to go into the service, whether that's to go out in the trade, or whether that's to go off to college to be a student athlete, or just to go out to college to, better add value for whatever career path they decide to go down.
Absolutely. It's more than just, molding players on the field. It's about shaping players, student athletes into successful workers, citizens throughout the next 10, 20 plus years of their life. And, it's a big responsibility and an exciting one. So fantastic coach. And I remember we spoke to you before the Blitz Border Bowl back in January. A tough result for the team, but still, what a fantastic opportunity that was for you to have that last final moment with some of your guys and to see them perform and show out in an all-star game like that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Got to work with guys across the county, neighboring counties, different players. Anytime you get to work in some type of all-star atmosphere, you get to build a relationship in a week with guys from different schools. It's like Wade Hampton. We played them in baseball, and then you go out there and you look, and I was like, I know that cat over there at first base. So that's awesome to see guys, being, 2-sport, 3-sport, multi-athletes, and not just, one sport athlete. So just seeing them in different phases of their athletic career is always great to see.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Just, having all the seniors there in one place sort of and being able to interact with a bunch of guys that I didn't really get to talk with during the year. Like Austin McQuire might be the first baseman you're talking about from Wade Hampton, but that kid was hilarious, man. I had so much fun talking with him, and OG Simmons from Ridgeland. Like there were just some really cool kids out there. And like I said on the podcast before with Wes, like it's kind of just catharsis for us. It's like putting a bow on the season to go out in a kind of fun, laid back environment and hang out with all these kids we covered for the last 3 or 4 years and get to see them play one more time with, there's a lot on the line, pride on the line, but it's not life or death, like it's a chill environment. They're loose and it's fun. But what are some of the challenges you're going to face? And well, actually, let me back up and say you're following. You got a tough act to follow because Sarah Hayes did a terrific job, and I think probably you learned a ton working under her for a couple of years. But what are some of the biggest challenges you're going to face as you make this transition and you try to continue, keeping the creek rising and taking Battery Creek to a new level?
Well, first of all, it's the standard that Sarah set for our athletic department is just living up to that. And, and everybody's unique in their own way and just trying to find what I can bring to the table that may be a little bit different, but continue to march on from what Sarah has done for not only our athletic program, but for our school in general. So, those are big shoes to fill there. Again, I think I have a great support staff. That was one of the things that I thought about when taking over this position is the people that are involved with our athletics from our booster club and, from our administration there. So we got a lot of resources that I'm utilizing at this time to help me be the person that I need to be for this job. Carlos Cave has been a tremendous help. He's definitely encouraged all the athletic directors and those that are wanting to become assistant athletic director or athletic director to take those necessary courses to better understand our role. Because, it's not just about knowing sports, it's just from the legal standpoint, policies that you put in place. So there's a lot on the back end that most people won't see. They're going to look at the hires and how your teams are performing, but the transportation, especially with spring, you have cancellations and things like that. So that it's been, I think I entered at the right time because I got thrown into the fire with spring sports there, which you can ask any athletic director, anybody knows anything about sports, especially high school. Spring is the biggest time, especially all your sports are outside. So you're having to battle with transportation, facilities, and
weather.
So
reschedules. Yeah, it's man, they can't pay you enough. There's no way, none of you guys. But I believe my recommendation for football coach has some transportation experience though. So,
Coach.
Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
Coach, we've seen a lot of great improvements in terms of facilities and the growth of more enhancements in the football stadium. Your thoughts on how Battery Creek has come the last few years and expanding and enhancing the facilities and where would you like to see that go in the future now as athletic director?
Well, just me with our admin team and our principal, Mr. Lassar, is, we should be finishing up construction definitely late 23. So our plan is to open these facilities back up to where it was before COVID. We had a lot going on from dance teams to, we had Shane Olson, which is one of the local pastors here. He held his church services here on Sunday. So being able to do things like that, having our track meets back at home. Those are things that we've missed out for, I would say, the past 3 years, I believe. So, and we had the Wildcats used to practice over here. So there are a lot of things that we are looking forward to being able to start back up and some new ideas of things, from our wrestling. I think it's kind of, I believe it's Somerville that does it, but they get the mats out there on the football field and have a big wrestling tournament. So, we're going to be creative. We've been blessed with these facilities, so we're going to put them to use. We're not going to hide them. I think it's going to be part of our brand. And it's definitely going to allow us ultimately to develop our own student athletes with providing them with the necessary facilities to maximize their potential.
I love it, man. I mean, they're community facilities first and foremost. They're for our kids and our communities. So I love what you guys are doing over there. I know you guys have had like benefit walks at the track and stuff like that in the past too. So great community thing you got going over there. And I'll shout out Pastor Vince Smith too. He does a lot for you guys as well. So he's a huge supporter of Battery Creek.
Yes, we had a good conversation yesterday when he was over here. But if you come to any athletic event, you're going to see a guy that's always around. He attends practices. He makes sure that he gets around. All our student athletes know him. But he's definitely been a huge supporter to our school, to our community, to our athletic department. So. We'll definitely continue to build that relationship there, but the amount of work that he puts in for taking care of our kids is unimaginable.
Coach, I mentioned the Palmetto Combine Series going on this weekend over. Was it Somerville? Moved over to, I believe, Woodland. So, just your thoughts on what you're hoping to see from some of these Creek guys on Saturday, and just how awesome the opportunity is for these football players to get noticed at this level.
Well, I got my fingers crossed. I haven't looked at the weather today, but I know yesterday wasn't looking too good for the underclassmen because I think the underclassmen get started around 1:00 tomorrow. So that could make things look interesting there. But I know Juju Gordon would be in attendance for that senior. Savion Simmons will also be there. And then we got some underclassmen from Damian Freeman, Nicholas Underwood, guys like that. So just really, I look at these opportunities as them to get around competition, from this part of the state and be able to compete not only with others, but also with themselves. A lot of times when we go to these things, I encourage them to watch others. How are they warming up? Who are they talking to? What does this process look like? Because it's something that you're going to continue to do if you're serious about going to the next level. So if you're attending camps, a lot of these camps, you're going to run the 40. You're going to do one-on-ones. So just taking what you've learned from each individual session and growing from one session to the next is ultimately, my focus and what I encourage them to take from this. And, ultimately have fun too. Because this is a once in a lifetime experience. You're not going to get these things back because once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, once that bell rings, man, unless you come out of retirement, from baseball to play in the Beaufort County Men's League. I got Ashe on a contract for the Sand Fleas next season, so we got him on the record now.
I'll tell you like this. I got out there. We had a couple of games here Saturday, and I got out there with the JV baseball team and threw it around a little bit. I was like, I'm gonna have to get this arm warmed up a little bit because it definitely was sore.
It takes a lot longer to warm it up than it used to, and it doesn't have quite as much left in it. I'll tell you that right now. But it definitely works some different muscles you forgot you had.
Yeah. The next step is try to get a little bit of BP going.
That comes back a little easier. That comes back a little bit easier, I think. But I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. All right. Well, we appreciate you, Coach, and congratulations again on the new gig. And I think you're the right man for the job. You got the right philosophy, personality, and attitude to help these kids continue and stay on a good path and continue to reach their potential. So best of luck to you the rest of this spring, keeping your head on straight, and we'll talk to you real soon, man.
Justin, Wes, I appreciate it.
All right, we'll hear from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with more here on the LowcoSports Lowdown Live.
Hey, Loco sports fans. This podcast and all of our grassroots local sports content are made possible by support from community sponsors, including Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of Lowco Sports, and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Our original sponsors are still among our greatest supporters. Ryan and Tiffany Mickelson are community pillars who will be in your corner no matter your legal needs. When you need legal representation, call on the attorneys who support Team Lowco. Call Mickelson Law Firm. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice provider of Lowco Sports, and the only not-for-profit hospice in southern Beaufort County. For more than 30 years, the committed, compassionate staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry have been there to ensure your loved ones find comfort, honor, and dignity at the end of life. Because at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. Jan Lucas and his team provide thorough, detailed home inspections aimed to ensure everyone goes into the transaction with open eyes and confidence. Jan would rather reveal an inconvenient truth than look the other way and provide reassurances that could come back to burn the buyer in the long run. If you're looking to buy or sell a home and need an honest, reliable inspector, call on Homegrown Home Inspections, official sponsors of Lowco Sports. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If your business or organization has a website and you're trying to figure out what SEO is, you need to call on Denise and Dave Sinkovich at DDS Web Design. They'll provide a free consultation and do all the behind-the-scenes work to boost your search engine optimization and get your website found online so you can take your business to the next level. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. American Wood Reface, sustaining sponsors of Lowco Sports. Does your kitchen need a facelift? Before you start picking out new cabinets, give Ben and the team at American Wood Reface a shot. They can reface your existing cabinets to overhaul your aesthetic without the hefty price tag and reimagine your kitchen at a price point you can manage. Be sure to tell them Lowco sent you, because every referral helps support Lowco Sports. 4M Metals, sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports. Got metal? Your roof might need it. Metal roofing advantages include better energy efficiency, weather protection, longevity, a more aesthetically pleasing design, and the product is all green. So if you've been thinking about a new roof, go metal. Let 4M Metals be the difference in your roof. Jay's Barbershop. It's the talk of the town and the place to be in Ridgeland. If you need your ears lowered, head over to Jay's for a fresh cut and great conversation with good folks. And tell them Lowco sent you. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling some of the best pies in the Lowco, and my kids say the mac and cheese is the best around. Hungry? Hit up Local Pie, longtime supporter of Lowco Sports.
Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry, the official floor cleaners of LowcoSports.com. If your feet tell you your floors need cleaning, call on Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry. They provide residential and commercial services, including cleaning carpet and area rugs, tile and grout, upholstery, curtains and drapes, mattresses, and more. But most importantly, they'll get those floors so clean, your feet will thank them. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry.
Hilton Head Prep is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we tell you all about the Dolphins' athletic exploits. But did you know it's also the #1 ranked private K-12 school in Beaufort County and ranks in the top 2.5% of schools nationwide? Visit hhprep.org to see what Hilton Head Prep has to offer. Beaufort Academy is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we love covering the Eagles. With a student-to-faculty ratio of 7-1 and an average class size of 14 students, Beaufort Academy could be just the educational solution you're looking for, with more one-on-one attention. BA has a strong history of working with the whole child to prepare each student for college and life. Check them out at BeaufortAcademy.org. Thank you to all of our sustaining and supporting sponsors for their support of LowcoSports.com. Go Lowco.
All right, we are back. Justin, Jarrett, and Wes Kerr here on the Loco Sports Lowdown Live, and I just talked with Battery Creek Athletics Director Terrance Ashe. If you didn't know he was the AD, that just happened. He was the football coach before. I think after talking with Coach, I think everybody would agree. Great choice to lead the athletic department over there. I've been really impressed with him since we first met when he was first an assistant at Beaufort High and then became the head coach at Battery Creek. And, I think he's a great mentor and leader for young people. And, what really touched me is the fact that he said what it came down to for him was, he can make an impact on more kids by being the athletic director than he can as the football coach. And he wants to be able to do that. So very admirable goal. And like we said, it's yeoman's work, but I think he's up for the task.
Big shoes to fill after what Sarah Hayes did, but man, he is absolutely the right person to take over that role. And just love, his thoughts about what he wants to do and his, just his willingness to help more kids, because that's what it's all about. It's one thing coaching up kids to succeed in the field, but it's all about, setting these kids up for success after they walk across the stage, get that diploma, and do great things around the community and beyond. So, his love for these kids and his love to help kids, that's going to carry him far in this job, and he is going to do a just amazing work in his new role. And just so excited for him. And obviously some big decisions up ahead. Who's going to hire a football coach? Obviously, that's always a key choice on which shapes a lot of the direction of how the athletics will go in these next few years. And I think it will, from the qualities that he pointed out, I think he's going to nail that and do a fantastic job and bring in someone who's well equipped and has the philosophy of knowing that it takes more than just the X's and O's to be a successful coach. I mean, you got to have knowledge, you got to relay good information, and you have to know what you're doing to find success in the field. But it's much more than that, and he knows that, and he's gonna bring someone in who just has that same passion that he is, that same fire and love for these kids to help them pursue their goals on and off the field. So I think that's what it all comes down to, and he's going to do a fantastic job in his new role as AD and bring someone who's going to do the same thing and build that same approach to what he already has done on the football field for Battery Creek. So congratulations on his new role. I mean, he has really impressed me ever since he came in. And it was a tough situation for him. He had to come in during 2020, which, coming back after COVID, not easy at all. And I thought the transition that he made was seamless. He did a terrific job, really, laying down a great foundation for what this football program is going to do now with new head coach. And just really proud of what he's done and excited to see what he does when he takes the reins as AD.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the future there. They've got a lot of young talent. I mean, they had a lot of young guys playing big roles last year, and then they were also excited about their JV. So that tells me that, brighter days are definitely ahead for them. And I think having a football coach who has been the football coach at Battery Creek, where it's a unique challenge, maybe not unique, but different, than a lot of places. That's a big advantage. That's a big feather in your cap, having a guy who's had to do it, making the hire, because he understands the kind of person it's going to take, and he gets to sit in that room with them and make the ultimate decision. So, that's going to be a great situation over there, I think. And we got a few more headlines to take care of before we get to our Lowco shout outs. And we've been talking her up a lot lately. She's in the news all the time, all the way out in Hawaii. Your classmate, Savannah Ryer, now moving over from was she with women's basketball program,
basketball,
right?
Director
now moving over to director of recruiting for the football program at Hawaii. Are they the Rainbows now?
The Rainbow Warriors.
Are they still the Rainbow Warriors? I wasn't sure.
I believe so.
But yeah, that's awesome, man. She's never ceases to impress me with all the things she's
so
done.
Committed and just so driven. From her time on the basketball court, and not to mention her time as a kicker on the football team under BJ Payne a decade ago now, when she was here at Hilton High before she moved up to Alabama, went to Shelton State to play her college ball. Really grew her notoriety and her stock there with her excellent shooting on the court, and just that dedication, court vision, hustle. She really provided it all and brought that same mentality over to Hawaii to finish out her career. And just really heartbreaking to see it end the way it did in 2020, not being able to play her conference tournament. But then she comes back a couple years later and wins that conference tournament as a director of player development, so part of the team, part of the coaching staff. That had to feel sweet for her, and now she's ready to pursue a new opportunity with that same athletic program. And certainly, she has gained a lot of knowledge over the years of what it takes to be a successful, coach and scout on the football side of things. She's been well schooled in that area for a number of years, and certainly up to the task. And I think she's going to do an excellent job. By the way, she maintains that work ethic and just her passion for what she does. I mean, you got to have, if you work in sports, you got to have the passion to do it. And she has shown that no matter what her area has been. Basketball, obviously, she's played for a number of years, but she's been a kicker on the football team, and she's really always shown that passion for football over the years. And, she wanted to do something in sports all the way back here when she was at Hilton High, and she's really found her niche as, that person who has that ability to ignite her teammates or ignite players on her group. And now she gets kind of a new opportunity to enhance the future of this team by seeking out, players that are kind of like driven as she was in the basketball court and have that same hardworking mentality and that same kind of talent. So maybe a new sport, but I think she is going to blow it out of the water and do a fantastic job for the Hawaii football team.
Yeah, that's an interesting challenge too, recruiting, football players to Hawaii. Because on the one hand, you're like, well, how hard could it be to recruit
Yeah.
people to Hawaii? But it can be difficult to convince an 18 or 19-year-old kid to, move across the ocean from their family and go play college football. That's kind of an isolating thought. So, that takes a unique skill set, and obviously she's spent time over there, so she's going to be able to, make the sell on life in Hawaii. It sounds pretty good right now to me, to tell you the truth. But we've got some more recruiting news from the other side of things, and you may have seen it on Twitter. But Takoya Hayward, we've called her the people's point guard over on the Lowco Hoops Report, may stay at home. She's got an offer to play basketball at USCB. Saw the picture with her and Sharon Versup in front of the fountains out in front of the Hargrave building. And that's pretty exciting stuff. That would be very cool to see Koya, who we've watched since she was a 7th grader, come up and keep playing in front of the hometown crowd. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be amazing especially for us as Lowco sports writers and for people who have, covered her whole basketball journey ever since she was a little 7th grader going up to playing varsity sports and varsity basketball. I remember following her that 8th grade year, that B-Town Classic, when she just took that tournament over and led her team to victory, and just a couple of impressive performances. And from that point on, she has been just an electric playmaker, scorer, and just an amazing leader for this Bluffton team over the years. And they call her she's my point guard. She's my point guard. And that's what the people's point guard thing kind of adopted from, and she's just had that teammate first mentality, very unselfish with the ball, and her court vision is just so elite. I have loved watching her so much over at Bluffton. What a fantastic player! Her communication is excellent, and just would be amazing for us, to continue to follow her for another 4 years potentially after she finishes up her career at Bluffton. So. She's been really fun to cover. She just loves the game, loves the challenge of it, and I expect her to do whatever it takes to build this Bluffton team and take it to even another level next year. Obviously, a tough exit against AC Flora in the playoffs, but I think the hunger that she's going to have in her senior year to do something special with this team and the talent that they have coming back, I think it's definitely possible to see Bluffton make a deep run next year. And Takoya to just step up her game even more. And then, what an amazing opportunity, for her and just for this community. That's going to attract a whole nother group of fans. Just, people in the Low Country who know Takoya's name, might be friends with her or know her. That's going to, bring another, group of people in attendance who already know some of those stars. And I think there are a lot of good advantages of recruiting locally and attracting that local talent. And I think it could do wonders for both USCB and for Takoya Hayward, and just what an amazing opportunity that could be for this entire community to have one of the greatest players these last few years that we've seen on the girls' side stay here and cultivate her college career and be a part of a program that's starting from the ground up.
Dior Shelton's in the portal. Can bring her home too. I think it's absolutely critical that they recruit locally. I mean, I think it's so important because the most important thing in building this thing is building affinity, having a good home court environment, having a fan base. That's how you raise money. That's how you get season ticket holders. That's how you sell more gear and put it out on the streets. And it's not just about athletics or just about basketball either. It's about making USCB a more attractive destination as a university as well. And one of the deficits they've had there is that locally, because of the history of USCB and not being a 4-year school for all that long, there's a lot of people who've been in the area for a long time still kind of had a stigma about it, like, oh, well, isn't that a 2-year school? So I mean, this is still part of that evolution of the school of becoming a full-blown university experience. And putting people in the seats is so important, and putting local kids on the roster is the fastest and easiest way to do that. And you're going to make a lot more friends, even if they're sitting on the bench, than you are if you're just going out and recruiting out of state and not bringing anybody in locally, especially when you got kids who can play at that level. There may not be that many, But when some come through, you got to make sure that that they're getting offers and have the opportunity to stay home. So I think they're doing everything right over there with the basketball programs. I could not be more excited about having our own college basketball team in our backyard next year, man. It's going to be big time. And Dior would look good in sand shark, whatever color they call that now. It's not navy sand and garnet anymore. They've got that seafoam color that I'm not sure what they call it, but sand shark blue. We'll call it sand shark blue. How about that? Speaking of sand sharks, how about Ashley Mead, the golfer, winning the Lady Bearcat Invitational up in Greenwood? That's Landers tournament, and there were like 9 out of the top 50, 14 out of the top 100 golfers in NCAA Division II women's golf, and Ashley coming out on top. Shooting even par or better every round, finished 1 under. Terrific play, and so her second victory of her career.
Yeah, I mean, the consistency to produce those low scores on a round-around basis like that and find a way to come up with a win like that, I mean, that's tremendous for the entire program and for Mead herself. What a performance for USCB. 1-stroke victory for Mead over 3 others, 72, 71, 72. So, strong all the way from start to finish for Mead, who is, now racking up some well-deserved honors from the Peach Belt Conference. Golfer of the week on the women's side, which is, first one for the Sand Sharks as they make this transition. And they've had a great golf program, both on the boys and girls side, or the men's and women's side, for a while. But what a statement win this is for Mead in that program. 14 of the top 100 ranked D2 individuals, and Mead comes out with a victory. That is unbelievable. It just, speaks to the excellent coaching and the drive of these athletes to, step up to this big stage and take advantage. And she did that this week. Just an outstanding win for her. And, some other strong performances for that USCB Sand Shark squad as well. But congratulations, Ashley Mead. What an impressive week and a well-deserved title. And I'm really excited for the future. I mean, we've talked about, some of the other sports like baseball, softball, women's soccer, but, golf is, I don't think it may be that much of a step up compared to some other sports, just because we've seen some NAIA golfers that can, compete right with D2, D1. But even so, I think the step up is going to attract maybe some more talent across here, just even, around in the low country and around this area. So, congratulations to Ashley Mead. Statement win once again for her in this program, and a lot of big things up ahead for both the boys and the girls golf teams here at USCB.
Yeah, and the golf programs, NAIA golf is no joke, especially because of the number of international players that you get. But also the golf teams have always scheduled up. I mean, for as long as I can remember, they played a ton of D2 events, and even the men played a good number of D1 events and won a D1 event at Savannah Harbor. So, they've never shied away from that kind of competition at all. But I do think it changes the type of recruit that you can bring in, and the ceiling on some of those people just opens up there are a lot more players who are going to be interested in the D2 experience than NAIA, even in golf, where the playing field may be more level. But all right, well, Wes, let's get into our Lowco shout outs then, and then we'll call it a day, because we're coming up on another hour that we've talked about local sports. So who are you shouting out this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go for my individual player. I'm going to go with Ashley Brothers, who picked herself the hat trick at home against JP2. Man, I just loved watching your speed, and just, it's hard to find that consistency when putting balls in the back of the net, and just having that skill to finish against some pretty strong keepers here in the Lowco. And Ashley Brothers making it look easy, and really was the spark in all facets of the Hilton Head Prep team. And what was a battle. JP2 got the first goal in that game, but Hilton Head Prep struck just a few minutes back. The hustle from the Ashley Brothers being able to knot it right back up, and then 2 more goals to finish off her spectacular outing. And I just really been impressed once again by the depth and the talent of soccer here in the Low Country. And you speak about Brothers, she's just an 8th grader. I mean, just unreal. We've had some excellent soccer players that have come through this Hilton Head Prep program and just these Lowco schools in general, but to have an 8th grader dominating the way she did against JP2 in a big region game like that and scoring a hat trick, that's some big time stuff. and definitely deserves a lot of praise. So congratulations to Ashley brothers and this Hilton Head Prep team. That's looking like once again going to be a tough out once we get to the postseason. I mean, that's a team that's been competing, and sometimes you see that like some other sports around here that realignment gives more teams a chance to compete for those state titles, and we'll see what happens. Hilton Christian Academy girls, that's been a strong team over the years as well. Abby Peduzzi and the Eagles. I haven't seen him play much this year, but hopefully I'll be able to see him play.
Well, just hold on for the Lowco shout-outs, and I'm going to tell you more about what's going on with those Eagles.
All right, we'll bookmark that. Then for my team, I'm going to go with the Beaufort High boys tennis squad. That's been a terrific group over these last few years. Got to, I believe, a state title in the past, and they've been taking care of business again this year, and just picked up a nice win 4-3 over Hanahan. Graham Angus, who has been the star on that Beaufort High tennis squad, he bageled Mitchell Wood 6-0, 6-0. Diego Alvarez also winning 0-0. Casey Hugenboom with a 6-0, 6-1 victory. So a lot of dominant performances at the high end for Beaufort. And then the first doubles also get it done in the clutch. 6-0, 6-0's dominant victory. It took 4-3, but Hanahan won the second doubles by forfeit. So Beaufort had to do a little more work, but those top end guys did the job and blew out the Hawks. So great job there for Beaufort High tennis. We've talked about a lot of other Beaufort programs and how well they've done, but don't sleep on that tennis team. They have some extraordinary pieces on that group, and they've got the postseason experience to take deep once again.
Yeah, they're not quite as deep as they've been, as evidenced by they're forfeiting second doubles pretty consistently. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
That's a problem. I wasn't sure if it was like a one-time thing where maybe some guys were sick or some guys had other conflicts. But if it's a recurring theme, then certainly that's
they've forfeited at the last couple of matches, so I'm not sure if they just don't have as many players or if some guys are out right now or what's going on. But certainly at the top, they are dominant. Graham Angus and Diego Alvarez are both undefeated, and Angus was the singles champ, right? So he's for real. He's absolutely for real. So and Dave Riedemeyer, by the way, that guy's been doing it a long time. Here's his career record at Beaufort High: 587-47. As boys and girls. That's boys and girls combined over the many, many, many years. So that guy has been at it a real long time. And I love that he adds the updated career record to the spreadsheet every time so that I don't have to bug him about when he's getting close to a new milestone. But he's a good dude, too. I've had some great times covering his teams and had some great laughs talking with him at matches. So shout out to Dave. For my shout outs, I'm going to go with Whit Beebe, May River lacrosse player. He was outstanding last night, 7 goals, 4 assists. And by the way, while I'm thinking about it, I want to shout out this May River lacrosse program a little bit because they got some impressive young men on this team. They had senior night last night, and let me see if I can find it here. I had it pulled up earlier, but they have so many guys going to study engineering. Like, it's an insane number of lacrosse players going to study engineering, including Whit, who's going to study engineering at North Greenville, where he's playing lacrosse, and Brooks Van Esselston, who's going to study engineering at Florida Tech, and told me the other night that after that he plans to be a pilot in the Marines like his dad, which is pretty awesome. Here we go, boys lacrosse. It was a really impressive list of seniors that they honored last night, so bear with me while I pull it up. And they also had some other records. Jacob Bollinger also tied some kind of a record. But yeah, here we go. Jacob Bollinger is going to study mechanical engineering and play lacrosse at Embry-Riddle. Whit Beebe is going to study engineering and play lacrosse at North Greenville. You've got Corey Folk's going to enlist in the Air Force. Alex Dunton's going to study software engineering at the College of Charleston. Nathan Kamer is going to attend trade school to learn dive welding in Florida. Sam Mayo is going to the Citadel. Trevor Murdaugh will study criminal justice at USC. Michael Namdar study business in college and learn to be an electrician. Thomas Raish study business and walk on for football at Clemson. Brooks Van Esselston study aeronautical engineering and play lacrosse at Florida Tech. and Jacob Vietz has an internship with Caterpillar in heavy diesel equipment. So shout out to all those guys for already having a plan on what they're doing after this year. You love to see that. A bunch of them really challenging themselves at the next level academically, and you also love to see that. But most of all, my shout out to Whit Beebe with these 7 goals and 4 assists.
And success in the field and in sports is great, but what's even better? Succeeding academically and having those plans of what you want to do to better yourself and find success after you hang up the cleats, and having those guys already pinpoint the area of what they want to study and what they want to do. That's amazing. May River is an excellent academic school. We've talked a lot about the success in the field and athletically, but the academics is second to none. And we just go down a list of boys and girls who have done amazing things. We talked about National Merit Scholarship for Brooks Van Esselston. These guys know how to get it done in the classroom, and it's very impressive.
Yes, and that was not even my team shout out, Wes. I still shouted out a whole team. What do you know? My real team shout out is to those HHCA girls soccer Eagles that you mentioned earlier. That they've been kind of out of sight, out of mind because they didn't play from March 8th until March 20th. Then they had a 1-1 tie with Beaufort Academy, but they came out of their hibernation this week. They beat a good Patrick Henry team 4-1 on Tuesday. They beat a good Coastal Homeschool team 7-1 on Wednesday, and they play at Palmetto Christian tonight. Then a couple of good tests next week, home and home with Frederica. I am really looking forward to that game, those 2 games against Hilton Head Prep on Tuesday, the April 25th, and Tuesday, May the 2nd. Those are going to be terrific matches. Some stats on those ladies because they are playing very well. I know Abby Peduzzi had herself a couple games, so I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear that. Peduzzi had 3 goals and an assist against Coastal Homeschool. The day before, she also, I believe, had a hat trick. No, she had 2 goals in the 4-1 win at Patrick Henry. So she continues to be terrific. And, Lori White thinks that team is starting to really find itself and come together. And I think they're going to be problematic when you get into the playoffs. I mean, the defending state champs don't go out without a fight. Yeah,
and that's going to be a fun round robin, not just with Hilton Prep, with JP2, because that was a very competitive Golden Warriors team that we saw against Hilton Head Prep. So that's not going to be a cakewalk either. So should be a fantastic round robin throughout the second half of reach and play. And circle those dates. Tuesday the 25th. We got to wait a long time for that, but May 2nd will be worth the wait because those are going to be 2 excellent soccer matches, and then you get into the postseason, and it's going to be a lot more fun on the girls and boys soccer side. So, I mean, it's there's lacrosse is nearing the end, but we've got a lot of sports, a lot more time left to watch and cover these athletes, and I just cannot wait for what's going to be a really fun month of April with push to the postseason and a lot of these sports playoffs starting in lacrosse, and of course the RBC Heritage in the middle of that. It's just the spring of sports is so much fun. There's a lot going on, so much to cover, and there's so many new storylines. It's a great time of year. And really excited for what these next few weeks bring here in the Lowco.
Yes, sir. What do you get? Speaking of which, what are you getting into this weekend? You going anywhere tonight or tomorrow?
I'm heading to Hilton High tonight. I believe Beaufort is at Hilton Head on the softball side. Hilton Head High Seahawks, and then Kylie Rast. But then we got another important match at the nest as well, because the girls soccer Seahawks are home against James Island, and where Hilton Head is in that region. They're going to need some more wins if they want to, separate themselves, or at least, get into the postseason. And what an opportunity here against a James Island team that has been state championship caliber these last few years. And now we'll see if the Seahawks, they've played well, a couple of 1-goal losses or penalty kick losses against some quality teams this region. So they definitely have the capability of stunning the Trojans here tonight, but going to take a big time effort here at home. Yeah,
that should be a good one. I mean, Hilton Head's backs against the wall, so they're definitely gonna go all out and sell out for it. So, also got the Bluffton Derby. You got the Bluffton May River matchups tonight. May River at Bluffton girls, Bluffton at May River boys, and as well as that Hilton Head May River baseball game.
Well, it's loaded tonight. Wow.
Yeah, it's a stacked schedule for sure. And I've got rec softball with the Killer Whales, so I don't know what I'm going to be able to get to, but should be fun out there. And then tomorrow, I may try to get if I can figure it out tomorrow, I may go over to the Buford Track Classic a little bit and check that out. That'll be fun. And Bluffton, Buford boys lacrosse over there at the same time, if the weather allows.
If you're at a game, turn your phone sideways and get some video. We want to see as much as possible as we can, document our athletes and see what they're doing and to show off those highlights to our viewers. I want to see as many highlights as possible because this is a great time of year. So much going on, and with the two of us, it's hard to get to everything. So
it sure is, and we've got a link in our Twitter pin tweet and our pin post on Facebook to a Dropbox link where you can just upload video files or whatever you have, and that's a great way to get us stuff. And we've got some student interns out there who are trying their hand at it and getting us some great footage. We'd love to have more of those. So if that's something you're interested in as a student or even an adult who wants to learn a new trick, talk to us. It's fun. You're out there anyway. Try to get some cool highlights, and we'll see if we can put them on the air for you or drop them into the podcast here. But it was a fun show, Wes. We got a little long-winded, but hey, who cares? It's our show. We can do what we want, and nobody has to listen to the whole thing if they don't want to. But it was great talking with Terrance Ashe. Great talking sports with you as always, and shining a light on the kids and teams who are repping this out there in the Lowco. So thanks to our sponsors who make it possible, as well to our guest Terrance Ashe from Battery Creek, and to all of you who watch or listen every time. We appreciate you, and we couldn't do it without you. Until next time, go Lowco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.